sex workers, we are not recognized. Yes, if you look at it, internal migration, mostly on sex work, and then cross-border migration for sex work. It's really need to that this is a huge industry, okay, for it's benefiting everybody actually. So we have to see in a different angle now, and then which is also linked with trafficking. So ASEAN need to link in a lot of ways, and the good thing ASEAN member state, we have laws on trafficking in person, but then we have to look at it in a different way for sex workers because they are identifying in a cross-border issue. So we have to have a clear discussion on that, I think, on sex workers. But then overall, I would say that politicians in this region, they have to have a political will. If they don't have the political will, we will not be successful. The political will from everybody is politician, a member of parliamentarian, the policy maker, the officials. They have to have this political will that we want to have equitable, what we promise, we want to have as ASEAN society, that's all linked with political will to come up with. Then we'll see the success in ASEAN. Thank you.
Shafi. We in trade union are equally worried now. We are equally worried. We are not that stabilized. Because we see the trend in ASEAN now, they are replacing the permanent workers to outsourcing, as you know, as mentioned earlier, and also contracting. And also at the same time we are facing, I don't say facing, but we are competing with the migrant workers. This is a big problem I think we face today in this region. One of the reasons why most of the employer like to have the outsourcing and also contracting out, because they have the right to hire and fire, easy hire and fire. And by doing so, also minimize the trade union right. They minimize the trade union right. I think if we have done a simple research, there is an attempt to reduce the power of trade union time to come. Because I think most of the employer, they feel frustration when they meet with the trade union leader. Because the trade union leader will demand and also talk about the right of the people. Right now, what we are thinking today, the competition now is not only for the permanent workers, even the outsourcing and contracting out, and also with the migrant workers. This is actually worrying all of us now. Whether by doing so, to bring up the standard or to lower the standard, I think this is one of the strategy done by the employer to pay lower wages. And so they can keep these people intact. When they are no good, they can terminate these people and send them back as soon as possible. For the people working in their own country, I think they also have a problem, because when you become outsourcing workers and also for the contracting, you don't qualify the rights. You know, most of the people in even our own country, they're denying their rights to get a loan from the bank and also purchase a car. These are the new phenomena which we face. Now the last question raised by my sister here from Singapore, the placing for Singapore number 3, this is a study I've done by the expert. I'm not expert. I don't know in what way they place Singapore in third, with a rating with a third, and also we know very well that Singapore does not also practice the minimum wage for that matter. So maybe we will debate on this one. I'm sorry I cannot answer the question. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Time is running out. We are at noon already, but perhaps I can invite last comment. Anyone has a Phil and Dr. Sripap, two of them. So Phil, can you give the floor to the lady first? Okay.
Thank you, Chair James. Thank you, Phil, for giving the floor to lady. Just 2 points. The first point is actually was Mel might have forgot because I asked Mel to notify all participants who received the report on the study that there are still some mistakes there. I was doing the last reading lately and I found some mistake. I'm sorry for that. So please keep that in mind when you go through the study. The second point, actually, I'd just like to react to the point that Mel said at least twice, which is about regional standard. I know that Mel is not a relativist and they know where she is, but I just want to say that the point made by Mel was well taken, that we need as a regional standard, we need a kind of a tailored standard in order to meet the needs and real situation of the region. I do agree with it. But in the same time, I guess we have to keep in mind that all of us in the region, including the workers, deserve the standard, which cannot be lower than the international standard. And I guess that's what we have been trying to do. So I just like to make this point very clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Phil.
Thank you, Chair, for inviting me in, for giving me an opportunity to ask a question, actually. And the question is one that is, where is this going to go next? Because my understanding of what the governments are working on is they're working on a framework agreement that is going to only cover persons they consider to be legal migrants and exclude their families. So what is being set out by the governments is perhaps a sort of a complete two-tier system, where the vast majority of people, in fact, will not be protected by whatever regional protections are developed and remain in the situation they are right now. So then how do we tackle that issue? That would be the issue I'd like to ask the panel to give some thoughts to.
I see even more hands now because Phil, you stir up the conversation. I have to apologize because I don't want the lunch break to be too late. We are past noon already. Perhaps if your question can be submitted or asked in the afternoon, that would be most helpful. I'm sorry for the discontinuation of the conversation. But on Phil's comment, I have to say that is the worry, the fundamental worry that we all share. It is to say that government do not care about what people are talking about. And we are saying to the government, that we need these issues, these various issues, most fundamentally to have the framework as comprehensive as possible. That is the thing or the agenda that we try to push for, at least to make them aware that they can't actually do this on their own. They need to engage. And for example, Shafi is advocating for a more transparent channel of interaction. I think that's very helpful. That's the only thing I can say. And I'm going to end this session by saying it's an irony that if you look at the recent, I think it just came out last week, by the intelligence unit of The Economist. They conducted a survey from business leaders in ASEAN. And the business leaders are viewing ASEAN as a region, meaning that as one whole. So they are developing two things. One is ASEAN strategies, and the other is to have ASEAN footprint. So it's becoming a reality. The diagram that Melissa put up is becoming a reality in ASEAN. While that is a reality for the business, we don't have the other reality for the workers. Meaning, we don't have the common strategy for the workers. Businesses are developing their own common strategy. It is what we need to do. And with that, I'd like to thank the organizers, again, my co-organizers, and also the excellent speakers. Give them a big hand. Thank you. And we can go to lunch now to go back to MC. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our excellent moderator and distinguished speakers, and also all participants for contribution this morning. As a token of our appreciation, may I invite Professor Dr. Sawani Asawarod, the Commissioner of the Law Reform Commission of Thailand, to present some souvenir to the distinguished speakers and moderator.
Melissa, in the order of speaking.
then Harun, and then Shafi. I would be the last.
We have now come to the end of the first half of the day of the regional consultation and we now break for lunch, which will be served at Brazili Room, which is located at the lobby floor. We expect to proceed to the second session at 1 o'clock. Ladies and gentlemen, we therefore hope to have your presence back at 1 o'clock sharp. Enjoy your lunch and thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, before you are going for lunch, we have just a short announcement from our organizer. We have provided some free publication at the registration table, which is including this one, the publication from the Human Rights and Development Foundation, and also this document, a comments of ILO on the draft ASEAN agreement. And this document we will use for our group discussion in this afternoon section. And in addition, we would like to kindly request these following delegates to contact our organizer at the registration table. One, Ms. Dung Thia Vien Eng. Second, Mr. Hong Kien Dong. And third, Ms. Brandma Mati. Thank you so much and we wish you have a good lunch and we see you soon at 1 p.m. Thank you.
This is probably, Sammy and I were involved in the whole ASEAN, task force on ASEAN migrant workers, complicated process. We ran from about 5, 6, 7 weeks. It resulted in that big document you may have seen. And basically, civil society was